New at 5:30, a secret recording was played for jurors in the high-profile sex abuse trial of a popular, successful karate instructor. Craig Peoples, who runs the Kingsland Pax Karate, is accused by 7 former students of years of sexual abuse. Peoples has denied the allegations, and the statute of limitations has expired on criminal charges. But this civil case comes with potentially stiff penalties, including punitive damages. Ann Schindler is on your side. She was in the courtroom today.
Justin Conway was one of the final 2 plaintiffs. Like the previous 5, describing a pattern of grooming and sexual assault by the karate master they revered. Craig Peoples has always denied the allegations. And although a state investigation found evidence of child molestation and assault, the 7-year criminal statute of limitations in Georgia had expired. Conway helped change Georgia law to pass the Hidden Predator Act that allowed this case to proceed as a civil suit. He also wore a wire for investigators to secretly record a conversation with Craig Peoples. He said he saw the karate coach with other children and felt responsible.
It was still going on, and then it was my fault.
Peoples' attorney, James Durham, hit back hard, challenging Conway's memory and suggesting that he basked in the acclaim he received for his efforts. But Conway's description of the pattern and progress of the alleged abuse was consistent with the others, and he, like they, said their goal was simple.
He needs to be held accountable and not ever be allowed to be around children. Never.
Ann Schindler, First Coast News, on your side.